our two next speakers will join us on stage. They could not be here. The first one is Rieul Techer. He's founder of Paillasse Saône, and he will talk. He's active in the field of energy. He will talk about the project DAISEE or DAISEE, where they try to deploy trusted peer-to-peer infrastructure. So after a 6-month experiment with blockchain technology, he will now give a little bit of feedback on that and add some conclusions and next steps. So the floor is Rieul. You can speak.
Yeah, okay. Do you hear us?
Yeah, and what about you? Can you hear me?
Okay. It's up to you. And if you want to share documents with your desktop.
Okay, so I try to do it, and you tell me if it works. So can you see the slide with the DAISEE picture?
Yes, we see it.
Okay, great. So we can start now. Yeah. Great. So, hey everybody. My name is Rieul Techer, and I'm part of the DAISEE basically, and I'm a contributor of the DAISEE program. DAISEE program is basically about building the Internet of Energy, or we can say also building energy as a common. The title of my presentation today is something like blockchain, but what's next for energy? I won't be talking about the technical stuff or the blockchain technologies itself and its application to the energy field. I will try to focus more on the open program called DAISEE, basically, and to give you some feedbacks about our 6 months program and this work on how to apply, let's say, some blockchain technology in the energy sector. Can you hear me well? Okay, great. Don't hesitate to interrupt me if you don't hear me well. So, first of all, just a quick statement about this co-production. This co-production is under the license CC BY NC SA. So basically, you can use this work provided that you attribute it. You use a non-commercial way, and of course, you share the URL is just the short URL, basically at the end of this presentation or at the bottom of the slide. So this is statement. The second one is that I'm just part of a team. I'm just at the left-hand corner, and we are basically 10 people in the core team and around, say, 20 contributors, around, let's say, friends. You have people also in Spain, some in Berlin, some in London, etc. So we're trying to build, let's say, this open program, open source program, and trying to federate and integrate different expertise and also curious minds, basically, in our adventure. What is DAISEE? Let's say energy by DAISEE is something like centralized autonomous interconnected system for energy efficiency. What does it mean? Basically, that we are trying to build first the Internet of Energy based on, let's say, the hybridization of the link between, let's say, the IoT that you end up with in your house and the blockchain. Basically, Slockit does it as well and does it very well. So what we're trying to do, use Ethereum blockchain as one big open API, basically. And we are trying to build our energy meter, open source energy meter, connected with blockchain, let's say, or any technologies that are distributed databases to share energy consumption and production data, and trying to automate the transaction between those. First, the data infrastructure, and secondly, the physical infrastructure. And this is the first part, and the second part as well is the energy as a common. So first of all, about building the Internet of Things, what we're trying to do is we build a link between the producer and consumers. Basically, today the consumers don't have really access to their consumption pattern, don't have, let's say, their hands on the production, price, the electricity they buy. And what we are trying to do is to rebuild the link between the producers and consumers. And for this, what we're trying to do is to build a distributed data and physical infrastructure. So first, using the electricity data from the consumption and the production side. Secondly, use this data in a distributed infrastructure, so based, for instance, on blockchain technology. Please note that we are basically blockchain technologies and technology agnostic. So what we're trying to do is to test and implement different technologies, distributed system, to the energy field, and to see if it works or not. And at the end of it, the aim is basically to build a local marketplace in order to facilitate or create a condition to exchange or to transact electricity directly, both for the transaction, for the virtual transaction, let's say, and for the physical transaction as well. So let's take an example. It's not really different from what you've heard with the Transactive Grid program, for instance, in Brooklyn, or from any other, for instance, in Australia or in Vienna, Hungary, for instance. So if you take Barbas, for instance, that have two houses, two different houses, they are both consumers and producers. What we're trying to do is to make it possible for Bob and Alice to directly exchange electricity, not, let's say, not like France, or maybe like in Belgium. If you produce your own electricity, you have to sell it directly to, let's say, the main producer. In France, it's mainly EDF, and the fact is that this kind of system, you can choose who you are selling to, and the DAISEE system, let's say, we're trying to build this infrastructure to make it possible for the people to directly exchange and transact their own electricity, and to focus on, let's say, short circuits of electricity. So this was the first part about the Internet of Energy, and also the second part is about building the energy as a common. What we define as a common is basically shared resources, so be a place, a garden, software, a road, or internet protocols, for instance. Here in ours, it's energy. Secondly, you have to have a community of users or users. Basically here, it's our prosumers and consumers, for instance, or anyone to contribute to the program, for instance. And of course, you need to the rules and the processes that are defined by the communities to manage this common. That's what we try to do as DAISEE program through the different workshops. With the different programs that are built around the world, energy sector also, and also in the system sector as well. So first, Cell Labs has worked on the energy field during, let's say, blockchain workshop, Sydney, a few months ago, well, almost 1 year ago, basically. So it kind of started like that. Afterward, we gathered during the LIFT conference blockchain in February and tried to think about how we can optimize the energy system based on, let's say, emergency in the IT sector. So that's why we thought about why not trying to implement the blockchain technologies in the energy field by working with some, for instance, Slockit on the application of blockchain to IoT, and also with Open Energy Monitor or Citizen Watt, for instance, that are building their own open source energy monitor, and with all the curious minds working in the ocean tech, the insurtech, fintech, and all kinds of technologies. The aim is really to build, let's say, an antidisciplinary or transdisciplinary ecosystem to work on this DAISEE program and try to have different skills and expertise to build it. So what we've done is basically trying to open first and to document as well our practices, and of course to see what would be the different contributors that want to be part of the adventure and try to work with us. That's the first part. The second part, of course, is once you've had the design for your program, let's say, the aim is to get your hand and try to first work with the software, but also with the hardware and maybe with the local infrastructure and local grid, for instance. So this, for instance, at one friend's house, who had some photovoltaic systems, free photovoltaic systems actually, and free also energy meter. And what we've tried to do is basically, can we try to make those different systems autonomous and independent to share energy, not autonomous and independent manner, basically. Unfortunately, we didn't get to do it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, no problem. And last of all, of course, what we've built at the end of those 6 months is basically a 4-node Ethereum, let's say, chain. Each nodes are independent and autonomous in their production engine pattern, and they are and they can basically share energy both virtually and physically. So this was our first prototype. What we've learned from this prototype rapidly is basically first talking about blockchain everywhere. So this is this is a kind of let's say pushy slide. But what we end up is to say basically blockchain is cool, but it doesn't. What you can't do with blockchain is basically have continued and permanent action with blockchain without getting your bill rocketing. Basically, it's not today real-time transaction. It takes from few to few minutes, so this is not. It's not real-time, and of course, it's not designed for huge amount of data. So what we end up basically is how about trying to hybridize blockchain logics with different other technologies like IPFS or BitChain, for instance. So I think I will end up with this slide because I think this basically sum up the all DAISEE program for the moment, and this is the main thing that we've learned so far is that if you want to the fully decentralized system, you have to rely on a common, that is to say, resources with a community of users and contributors, and rules and processes defined by the community to build this common. Thank you very much.
Are there questions or comments from the... Thank you much.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.